Today, we'll dive into the immense powers, responsibilities, and rituals surrounding the rise of the Gnome Kings. Powers of the Gnome King. The king's powers within his realm were unmatched, to the point where the distinction between monarch and dictator was almost non-existent. Here's what they could do. Lawmaking. The king could introduce or overturn any law instantly, even the Constitution. Nobility. They could demote nobles to commoners or elevate commoners to nobility with a single word. Judiciary. The king had the authority to banish or execute anyone, even members of the royal family. Land ownership. Every inch of land in the kingdom belonged to the king, and all subjects paid rent to the crown. Conscription. The king could conscript any able-bodied man into the military. While theoretically they could amend the Constitution to conscript women or children, no records suggest this ever happened. So in short, the king could do whatever they pleased, without consequence. Tenure of the throne. The kingship was typically a lifetime role. While the throne was held until death in most cases, there are 3 recorded instances of kings voluntarily resigning, so rare it was almost unheard of. Succession. The eldest legitimate child of the king usually inherited the throne. However, history has a habit of complicating things. On rare occasions, a bastard child claimed the crown, often with the backing of the people, or more importantly, the royal army. Untouchable authority. Physically harming the king was a capital offense, and with the monarch's iron grip on the military and police, uprisings were effectively impossible. Civil wars were unheard of, until the Finno-Korean Hyperwar, when everything changed. Military leadership. Unlike many monarchies, Gnome kings had no ministers of war or defense. They were expected to personally lead their armies in times of conflict. While this worked in some cases, it likely contributed to the eventual downfall of the monarchy. But that's a story for another day. The inauguration ritual of the Gnome Kings. Given the lifelong nature of the kingship and the sheer power it bestowed, the gnomes made sure their coronation rituals were nothing short of a kingdom-wide spectacle. These ceremonies were so elaborate that they often brought the kingdom to a standstill for weeks. Schools were closed, trade halted, and even the most mundane affairs of government were delayed, all in the name of tradition. The cornerstone of this flashy ritual was the underpants distribution ceremony. Before officially being accepted as king, the heir was required to personally hand out 2 pairs of underwear to every single citizen in the kingdom. And no, this wasn't a symbolic gesture. They physically had to go to each gnome, hand them the underpants, and ensure they were satisfied with the gift. The absurdity didn't end there. Because the ritual happened before the heir gained access to royal coffers, they were expected to fund the entire operation out of their own pocket. While the rituals were undeniably grand, they were also notoriously disruptive. Farmers complained about ruined planting seasons. Merchants groaned about halted trade, and teachers lamented weeks of missed lessons. But for the gnomes, the spectacle was worth it. A chance to celebrate their culture, ridicule the king-in-waiting just a little, and secure a few free pairs of underpants. And that concludes our look at the untouchable monarchs of the gnomes. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.